Hello. I am, I guess, wanting to do something a little bit more direct. I've spent a long time hiding away. Mainly because I've had to rest, get better, and rebuild my strength. Right now, I gotta say, I'm very lucky to have so many wonderful friends out there who have wished me well and who've encouraged me to get better. And being busy with parent work and everything, I guess I wanted to take a moment to say thank you all for your love and support over the years. And I hope I can give back to my community in the way that you all deserve. I know a lot of people are very stressed out right now, and if you're one of them, well, I want to create a space. Mainly that we can come together emotionally. We don't have to physically, because I know everybody's like individual. Everybody's got their own beliefs. Everybody's got their own perspective. And one of my things is I'm not weighed down by your thoughts and beliefs, more so your practices. What I look for in friends are people who are thoughtful about how they treat people, who care about other people's well-beings, who are warm, encouraging, who want to see people succeed. And you guys are like the most amazing crew of friends. I just can't get over how lucky I am that the internet provided us. This web of connection. I just kind of want to take a moment to appreciate that. Now, remembering what the ancient internet was like, there was no borders. There was no boundaries. Everything was just kind of a free-for-all. Now, over time, nations have decided that they are going to, govern some portions of the internet. And, social media created a whole other different loop with our AI friends, a whole other different loop. So there's a whole bunch of loops of dialogues that are happening simultaneously. And that, in all of those senses, is overwhelming. For people who are, the friends I've had to draw boundary lines with, the reason I don't want to condemn people is I want everybody to have a chance to renew themselves. I want everybody to say, I can start over today. However, and this is a very, very important line in that sand, if you have committed pain into the heart of another, either by selfish acts, and again, we have to hold ourselves accountable first. I cannot judge another person without reflecting on myself. And I think as a society, that's what we're missing. We're always projecting on the other. And so often we are not being accountable within. I believe we all have a system of moral conscience. I believe that people can choose to switch those systems off, often by will. I know there are people out there who have tried to override those systems, but then they come back with the feelings of guilt and shame, and that in itself leads to addiction, coping mechanisms. Forgiveness is the primary way that those pains get alleviated. If somebody wrongs you and they apologize and the person actually forgives them, peace in the heart. But what you have is I guess, a what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I want to say misrepresentation of love, but that's not it at all. The heart is a sacred thing. As children, we are all born here with this loving, kind heart. And that's why when you look at a sweet little baby, they're not judging people by how they look. They're just like, oh my gosh. And they're just filled with love. As we grow older, as we develop in thought and what we are taught, those opinions change. But the original heart, which is our inner child, is sacred. And this world forces those children to have to shatter themselves. Often a need goes unmet. The child's heart is broken. They have to find a way to cope, either by meeting their own needs or developing unhealthy coping mechanisms to survive within their environment. So it really depends on trauma, on different things that individuals have had to go through. And what I need to see is that we want to be responsible to our own inner child. We can really review, where did life shatter us? Where did we lose our morality? Where did we lose our perception of wrong and right? What caused the shift within our perceptions? Because right now, there is nobody who can go out and say, this is right and this is wrong. Because in a different perspective, in a different circle, in a different shift, in a different circumstance, it could be completely the inverse. And I have noticed this, and I know I am not alone, that we have, in grand majority, noticed these similar patterns, almost in opposite rotation. So, to get to a world where we are all not suffering, we need to restore the heart. We need to honor the heart. It is not manly to numb your emotions. It is manly to be somebody who is a protector. Not that they need to go out of their way to protect, but they have the intent to keep others safe. This whole false ideology of what is a manly man, being big and buff and not giving a, and I think we've seen it recently in the South Park episode of Christianity, where all the women were like plastic surgery and the big squishy lips, and they're like, oh, I'm so Christian, and then PC principal was like, yeah, Jesus, and Jesus, who was hired as the counselor, is being told that he's not Christian enough, that he has to reform himself. So our perception of everything is just bonkers right now. Let's get back to the heart. If you were born a baby and a male, is it being or is it just what you got your best friend who's a puppy dog, you're picking up your dishes, you're cleaning up your room, you're doing your homework. It's not all this crap society currently keeps throwing at our men. And I just want to reclaim our men, because I think most of us have been dealing with a shit time raising our children because of what has happened to our men. being a woman, being a man, honestly, it shouldn't be too different of an experience. Should it? We all go to school. The only thing is our physical biology. And again, some people do not even fall within those categories of physical biology of, X, Y, Some people are born with both. And so again, everything is just at a case-by-case scenario. It's none of my freaking business about other people's business unless their business is causing harm or abuse to somebody else. Then it is my place to get involved if I am either A, asked by the person who has been victimized, or B, it's so obvious that it needs to be addressed because it's in visual perception of the entire population and needs to be called out. Those are the two circumstances. And I know I'm going to get in a lot of shit for saying that I personally, this is how I proceed right now in my reality. When you got supper to make, you got houses to clean, you've got work to go to, you've got friends that you actually want to connect to, you've got all this stuff going on. All of this chaos seems to be caused by our unhealthy patterns and behaviors as a society. We can get back to the heart of all these things. Is being a woman, being half dressed and, having these? I don't think so. I know when I was a new mom, these finally had a purpose. And you know what? The whole dialogue about my friends who want to be of another gender than what they were assigned at birth, again, it's none of my business. I believe we should be waiting until we are at least legal maturity to go through that. Because it is a big choice. But, I know people who have stuck with it for over 25 years. And, am I tell them, no, you can't do that. It's just, if this is who you are, who am I to tell you to be anybody but you? As long as you're not hurting somebody else, as long as you're not doing horrible things, none of my business. And often, I've had so many amazing trans friends who have been just absolutely such a blessing in my life. Shout out to the handy ma'am. I hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for all your assistance in teaching me house repair tips, because wow, do I need them. When I'm in this world, I have the knowledge that I can go in any form I want. It's who I am on the inside that matters most. And who I am on the inside is always going to be the same no matter the avatar I choose to wear. So, like I said, we can only start within ourselves. And, every day is a great day to grow, as my friend Brendan says. If you are into, personal development, I highly recommend checking out Brendan Bouchard's stuff. If you are needing assistance figuring out your own traumas, trying to forgive yourself for your own trespasses, I would love to introduce you to Tim Fletcher. His work has helped me immeasurably with my own healing process. I have so many others I would love to recommend too, and I will in time. But I just want to come out here and say I'm grateful to my community. Thank you for letting me have the time to heal, and I'm more than happy to be out here and just discuss and listen. I don't know anything. All I know is if I'm not good at listening, then a lot of people are going to be not enjoying their experience here. And I'm grateful that you are here. This planet is way better with you on it. If you need any help during these crazy times, please make sure you reach out. We are a network, and we are going to continue to sew different lifelines together during this transition process. All we can do is just hold on to the ride, and for each individual out there running the machine, please look inward. Ask yourself, what kind of world do you want to create for your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids? And if you've chosen not to have kids, why? That's none of my business. If you can't have kids, if you haven't met a partner and you're angry about that, all these different potentials. If and when, if you want to have kids with somebody and you still haven't found that partner and you're, raging with hormones and all the other H words, what world do you want to give them when they finally are here? Because I can bet you it's not the one that we're heading on right now. This is some serious shit. People are going to be hungry unless things change fast. And this is the season that we are going to try to sow reason, but also the exploration of gardening, preserving, thanking our local farmers, seeing if we can even get our farmers on their own little online social media stuff so we can support them individually and make sure that their farms are safe and secure. For people who are experiencing job loss, having that network of support that, well, if I'm cranking in regular earnings, I can crank that out towards my friends who are doing art and music and whatever. And again, hopefully in time, I would love to be able to be free of my own daily grind and do what I'm doing, full time, but one day at a time, my beautiful friends. Also, if you would like to check out all my different blogs and pages and podcasts, if you would like to hang out, send me a friend invite. And I'll catch you later. Talk to you soon.